Welcome back to Next on Steam, your weekly spot to keep up with the biggest and most interesting games dropping on Steam. If you want a quick, no-nonsense way to see what's worth checking out each week, you're in the right place. This week, we've got a wild mix. A co-op chaos in a Weird West setting, a cinematic sci-fi survival, and a magic-driven RPG. Plus, one massive anime release that needs to be on your radar. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's dive right in. First up, Far Far West from Evil Raptor, releasing April 28th. This one is basically what happens when you mix a Wild West bounty hunter game with chaotic co-op horde shooting, and then throw in magic, robots, and undead monsters on top. You and up to 3 friends take contracts, drop into missions, and try to survive long enough to cash out. And what people who played the demo keep saying is that it feels a lot like a lighter, more chaotic Helldiver-style loop, but with way more weird fantasy energy. The big standout isn't the story, it's the moment-to-moment chaos. 1 second you're coordinating with your team, and the next you're dodging a ghost train or getting swarmed by skeleton monsters while casting spells and shooting revolvers. This is for people who just want something fast, fun, and co-op focused without taking itself too seriously. If you've got friends to play with, this one's probably going to be a mess, in the best way.
Hello?
Next up, Aphelion, developed by Don't Nod, also dropping April 28th. This is a narrative sci-fi survival game set on a frozen planet after a deep space research mission ends in disaster. The expedition was originally sent to study a distant, ice-covered world believed to hold unusual scientific significance, possibly even signs of something beyond natural explanation. But something goes wrong during descent. Communications break down, systems fail, and the crew is scattered across a planet that was never fully understood in the first place. You're left stranded in that aftermath, trying to survive the environment, but also piecing together what actually happened to the mission, and why everything fell apart so suddenly. What stands out is the atmosphere. It's not loud or action-heavy, it's quiet, tense, and focused on isolation. Everything feels cold and distant, like the world itself is slowly closing in on you. It also switches between 2 characters, which gives you different perspectives on the events as the story starts to unravel. This is really for players who like slower, story-driven experiences, more like an interactive sci-fi thriller than a traditional survival game.
Anybody copy? Holy shit.
Then we've got Ariana and the Elder Codex from Shinybox Games, launching April 29th. This is a side-scrolling action RPG set in a world built around ancient magic and forgotten knowledge tied to something known as the Elder Codex, a mysterious source of power that's been lost to time, but clearly not as gone as people thought. You play as Ariana, someone who gets pulled into this unfolding mystery and ends up uncovering just how deep the world's magical history actually goes. And as you move through different regions, you're not just fighting enemies, you're gradually unlocking new abilities that completely change how you approach combat and exploration. What stands out here is how fluid everything looks in motion. Combat is fast, ability chaining looks smooth, and there's a strong focus on movement, dashing through encounters, weaving between attacks, and opening up new paths as your skills evolve. This is for players who like Metroidvania-style progression, but want something that feels fast, responsive, and easy to get into without losing depth.
Hetero doesn't tell you how to live, it provides possibilities.
But to get the most out of Hetero, there's only one way.
Live
Achieve
your own
dreams.
And for the last pick, this one is technically not a full Steam launch yet, but it's definitely worth talking about. This is Neverness to Everness, developed by Hata Studio, expected to roll out around April 29th. This is a gacha-style open-world RPG, but the setting is what makes it stand out immediately. Instead of the usual fantasy or post-apocalyptic world, this is set in a dense, modern city that feels way closer to something like GTA than most anime RPGs. You've got free roam exploration, vehicles, fast traversal, and a city that feels alive in a very urban sandbox way. Then layered on top of that is the anime-style combat and character system, which is where the gacha structure comes in. The hook here is really the contrast. Realistic city structure mixed with flashy, over-the-top abilities and characters. It gives it a very different vibe compared to typical open-world gacha games. Now, it's important to be clear, this isn't a straight Steam release right now. It's more of a rollout situation depending on platform and region. But it's one of those games that's already getting attention just from its concept alone. If you're into gacha games or open-world RPGs with that anime GTA energy, this is absolutely one to keep on your radar this week. And that's everything coming up this week on Steam. If you want to stay ahead of what's dropping next, new games, hidden gems, and the occasional "why does this exist" title, make sure you're subscribed. I've got a new episode every week, so you don't have to dig through Steam yourself. And hey, if you jump into Far, Far West with friends, just remember, when everything goes wrong, it's definitely their fault. I'll see you in the next one.